Comparison of education at home and abroad. If someone tells you that taking your children to study in a different country will not only save half the money for a house, but it also completely cured the mental internal friction of the whole family, can you believe it? Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. As a parent who once suffered from domestic education anxiety, after my child experienced severe beatings in kindergarten and first grade of primary school in the country, our family moved to Europe and our children successfully transferred to local public schools. After experiencing these two completely different educational ecologies, I felt a huge sense of gap. Today we put aside those illusory, grand narratives. From the two most worrying dimensions of cost and benefit, let us calculate a real account of education at home and abroad. One monetary cost privilege plate and stepping stone in the theater. Let us talk about the most intuitive monetary cost first. In Europe, not only are public schools free of charge, but there are absolutely no class fees or material fees for any purposeful purpose. What impressed me even more was lunch. In many European countries, lunch is provided free of charge by the state. The nutritional mix is extremely rigorous and even perfectly meets the scientific needs of children's development. Looking back at China, we don't even have a hot meal for our own children. We can't even guarantee a safe and hygienic lunch, but we worry about international aid far away in the news every day. Food safety problems in domestic school cafeterias frequently occur, including tainted milk powder, fake vaccines, and even kerosene-flavored cooking oil. Why are you repeatedly banned? Because there is always a bug of privilege in the domestic system. Domestic principals have small kitchens, and teachers have special restaurants. In European schools, teachers and students eat exactly the same thing. The first lesson children learn here is that there are no privileges in society. When the tentacles of power have to sort out even a bite of rice, no matter how many red-headed documents are issued, neither can truly guarantee the food safety of the people at the bottom. In addition to food, there is a huge black hole in the cost of raising a child in China: tuition fees. Today's domestic education is a pure theater effect. People in the front row stood up, and people in the back row also had to stand up to watch the show. In the end, everyone stood on tiptoe and broke their legs from exhaustion, but the show did not become more exciting. Everyone makes up the lessons, which means that no one makes up the lessons. But if you don't make up for it, the chain of contempt in the class teacher and homeschool group can eat you alive in an instant. I have a relative who spent a lot of money on the down payment of half a house in a first-tier city in order to provide tutoring for his children. In Europe, unless the child asks for it, almost no locals go to cram schools. Not treating children as money shredders is the real mercy on childbirth. To the cost of favors, disappearing red envelopes, and real official business. Parents who have gone to school in the country must have a deep understanding of human feelings and the sophistication of the world. During holidays, it has almost become an unspoken rule to give red envelopes to teachers. If a teacher criticizes a child, one day the parent's first reaction is not that the child has done something wrong. Instead, my heart skipped a beat. Did I not send enough red envelopes? I once saw a real interview with a Beijing mother who immigrated to Canada. Because the child was naughty, he went to give the teacher a gift. As a result, the teacher thought the gift was too thin and threw the gift on the ground with extremely contemptuous eyes. The mother would never forget that look for the rest of her life. In the end, they gritted their teeth and took their children overseas. Later, the child who was once regarded as a problem child became very comfortable in the relaxed environment. I studied all the way to a PhD in computer science from Stanford. Domestically, educational resources are distributed according to power. From classes for teachers' children to key classes, rocket classes, and super VIP classes, they all talk about fairness and justice. Privately, it's all about relationships and money. This long-term inconsistency between words and deeds is turning the entire society into a breeding ground for two-faced people. 明明是黑的，非要说成白的；明明是丧事，非得办成喜事。With this deep sense of caution when I was looking for schools for my children in Europe. The first reaction is also, should we support the relationship? In the country, we are most afraid of hearing the words official business, because that means blocking you with the most stringent procedures. But in Europe, all admissions problems can be solved by sending an email. To apply for Children's Milk Fund, you can receive it by sending the materials as required. There are no classes for children of teachers here. Ask the principal if there are any key classes. The other person will just reply to you with a blank look on his face. What? I like this real sense of business like so much. It's like a set of open source code that works well. Transparent, efficient, without any hidden backroom operations. 3 educational benefits: burning curiosity and downtime system. So after paying such a high cost, what did the children in China learn? This goes back to the essence of education. The underlying logic of education should be to inspire love and curiosity and to explore the unknown. But domestic education is more like forcing a server to be overloaded for a long time. Forced to do questions, forced to memorize, and forced to spin. I got up at 6 o'clock every morning and finished school at 9 o'clock in the evening. What are the consequences of high pressure that goes against human nature? The system is completely down. So you will see that many children who graduate from high school will tear up and burn books crazily. What is burning is not paper, but deep hatred for this system. Because I was so hurt, I started to indulge wildly after I went to college. I have always admired the concept of a day goes by upon, and learning must not spoil your appetite. My kids are interested in plants and space. In Europe, no one forced him to recite popular science knowledge, but he relied on his internal drive to find books and read them by himself. Watch YouTube documentaries. From the first astronaut to land on the moon to the architectural differences between Starship and Crew Dragon, he knows everything about them. Learning is extremely pleasurable when you go with human nature. When you press your child's head to eat something he hates, depression and aversion to learning are inevitable byproducts. What is even more chilling is that domestic education is adding more and more negative ideological benefits. All kinds of empty slogans and forced hatred education are distorting the minds of children. A heart that should be filled with universal values and love is forcibly filled with hatred for strangers and gratitude to the oppressors. In essence, this kind of education just wants to cultivate human minds with scientific knowledge and red leeks ready to be harvested. For looking at the birth of citizens from the perspective of squad leader election. In comparison, what does foreign education cultivate? They are cultivating modern citizens who are truly responsible for themselves and society. My children told me that the monitor of their class is frequently re-elected and is not appointed by the teacher. If the monitor does not do well, everyone can complain at any time. If there are too many complaints, he will have to step down. Moreover, not many children want to be class president because it not only means heavy responsibilities, but you also have to accept the supervision of the whole class. Whoever likes to be the one should be the one. Listen, everyone, isn't this a miniature model of a modern democratic society? A leader is like a waiter. If he doesn't perform, well, he has to leave. But in primary schools in China, monitors are powerful and powerful. Even the classmate who is responsible for cooking can use the little power in his hand to add 2 more pieces of meat to his plate. Who can be the monitor? It often depends on who his father is. This kind of worship and fascination with power since childhood is a true reflection of the logic of the operation of that huge society. 5. The bottom line of rolling out and the upper limit of losing. Of course, we have to be objective. This kind of high-intensity test in China has indeed improved the basic science literacy of most people. For example, solving equations and doing arithmetic. Domestic children rely on their massive muscle memory too. They can often calculate faster and more accurately than European and American children. In order to prevent any one person from dragging down the whole class, the system forces everyone to keep up. But in foreign countries, learning is mainly based on interest. If you don't like math, the teacher will never go crazy. This will indeed lead to some children who are not interested in mathematics being extremely poor. But so what? Human life is extremely short, precious time, and computing power. Why waste time on boring subjects that have no interest in you? Or even wasted on reciting empty theories that create suffering? If you love science, you will be at home here and rely on your inner drive to ask questions to the teacher. Go to the library and AI to find answers. If you are good at art, you can develop other talents. Unevenness is the original face of the world. In summary, after comparing the costs and benefits of Chinese and foreign education, I am extremely glad that I made the choice. Let the child grow into a real person in an environment full of sunshine, equality, and no need to pretend. It's more important than how many perfect scores you get on the test. Thank you everyone for watching. If you like my sharing in this issue, welcome to like, favorite, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next issue.